brilliant, guys. Thanks so much for being with us, and thanks to all the journalists that have joined as well. So yeah, this is one of my favorite films so far this year. I've just got into watching them, but I always love a film that's about a social issue, and this is one that really makes you think. So, Samuel, tell me, how did this start for you, and what made you want to tell this story?
Yeah, so originally my co-writer, Philippe Gaube, he stumbled over an article years ago about an Australian couple expecting twins through surrogacy in Thailand. And one of those children was diagnosed with Down syndrome. And allegedly, they abandoned the child and left it with the surrogate. And that story really moved Philippe and me. And we started to do our own research. And in Switzerland, we discovered quickly surrogacy is prohibited. And there's a lot of moving stories of intended parents traveling to other countries to pursue their dream of having a family. So that was the starting point.
Right. How long from when you read this article to the cogs working and you're developing it into a script? Like how long of a period was that? Was it something that was in your head for a long time?
Yeah, it took quite a long time. It's very an emotional journey as well to make this film during the pandemic. We wrote it. I think originally in 2019 we started thinking about it, and then we wrote it during the pandemic. Financing and all of that happened later on, and we finally shot it. Yeah, this February it's going to be 2 years since the shoot.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a brilliant moral dilemma, I think, to put the audience into. Like, I was watching it, and then at that point when it comes along and you realize this decision they have to make, I was like, oh, I was like, amazing, right? It got the hooks in me, and I was like, okay, right. I couldn't take my eyes off the film, from that moment on. I was like, right, what are they going to do? And it really great where it puts the viewer, I think, in their shoes and really makes you kind of think, well, what would I do in that situation? Is that the effect you were always hoping to have on the viewer?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. It was really, with all my films, I really try to encourage the audience to reflect on certain social issues that are important to me and my collaborators. And it was very much the case here as well. And that sort of question, what would I do in that situation, was really the one that we wanted the audience to ask themselves. Yes.
Right. Okay. So we got like the three lead actors here. Now, I thought the acting was beautiful, lovely, subtle, internalized performances, but from all of you, and I think that's one of the reasons the film succeeds so well and why it has such an impact. So just before I go to the cast, do you want to tell me a little bit about your casting process and why you chose these actors to play the roles? Because I've always thought, the casting is probably the most important decision you'll make as a director. So tell me what your thoughts were on the casting here.
I fully agree with you on the point you just made, and I'm really extremely grateful for the collaboration I had with Lucy Gano and Jörg. Lucy and Jörg are very seasoned actors in Switzerland, Germany, and beyond, and it was really all about me hoping that they would join the project, and thankfully they were also very interested in the story and the characters. We started to have conversations about the project together and really develop this together further. I'm really grateful for their contributions. And with Gano, once we were in Georgia and started to cast, it was one of those magical casting moments where, without having met each other before and without exchanging too many, without having too many conversations before, it was instantly clear that she embodies this character so wonderfully, and really grateful that we met and that she joined our project as well.
Right. So Lucy, right? Yeah, lovely performance. Yeah, congratulations. It's
Thank
really
you.
really lovely and moving, and so subtle. It feels like you're watching something real, So yeah, congratulations. First of all, I really loved it. I couldn't take my eyes off you. So, but just tell me a little bit about for your character and how you approached it, and what you felt was kind of going through Hannah's head there as well.
Yeah. I was so drawn to that character and to the task of playing her when I read the script because I was really interested in that deep dilemma, and I was really interested to try to defend the character because she could be easy to condemn. You know, she's privileged. She's going to a
Yeah.
country and having someone, you know, get pregnant for her who could also be exploited. It could be a slightly exploitative situation, and I think there's lots of aspects about it that you could condemn. So I was really interested in trying to find the vulnerability and humanity in her, which is just an interesting acting challenge here. Yeah.
Like I think we do definitely feel her pain, don't you? And I thought it was great casting, like that, that you decided to cast, someone of your age as well, because you can kind of, you join the dots yourself, that maybe, you've passed, childbirthing age, naturally, you've tried IVF. And then the fact that you're wearing that, there's a prosthetic baby bump as well, I thought that says a lot about your character as well, Hannah, where you might want to be open, but you didn't want to be so open where you're telling someone that you're going about this surrogacy because I guess it can be a bit of a taboo issue. Like, I mean, is it in Switzerland? Is that something that is a bit taboo?
Oh yes, absolutely. It is. Apologies. Lucy, did you want to respond
No,
to that?
no, please. I mean, it's illegal, so.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
it
It
is.
is
Yeah.
prohibited.
Okay.
It is prohibited, and that therefore it is absolutely tabooed and
Hmm.
stigmatized. So
I
yeah.
mean, certain parts of the world, it's become so normalized now, like America, But Jörg, right? Let's go to you. I mean, right? I thought your performance was really lovely as well, and there was a really nice chemistry between yourself and Lucy. And you're from the start of the film, we're just immediately on your side, this couple's side, and then we kind of, you're sort of with them and really feel the pain they're going through, especially when they get that horrible news, and the dilemma they're put in. But tell me a little bit about, the character you're playing, Jörg. You play, is it Michael you're playing is the character. And just tell me, how you kind of approached the role and what you felt, was going through the mind of the character.
Yeah, first when I read the script for the first time, was very compelling, and it deeply touched me, despite its brevity and its minimal dialogue. And I wanted immediately to dive into that character and I can't say what I want. Yeah, and Lucy helped me a lot because it was really a pleasure to work to
Yeah.
play with her, and she had a really strong presence, and I really could only react. I just had to look on her and could react, and I think we had quite a good connection to each other.
Yeah, it feels like you've got a lovely connection there with each other. I mean, Samuel, how did you kind of go about creating that? Was there much rehearsal time for them to work together?
We did actually not rehearse a lot, but we had a lot of conversations at first individually. So Lucy and I would exchange and talk about the script. Jörg and I would do the same, and then it was actually sort of my intention, to savor a little bit that moment of we're going together to Georgia and keeping that excitement going before sort of rehearsing it too much and burning the fuel too early. So at a certain point, we started to join our conversation, and it was the three of us. And then we went on this journey together. And only in Georgia, on location, we did a little bit of an exploration of what are the spaces we're going to be shooting in. And we did another read-through here and there, but it was mainly really deep and also emotional conversations.
Right. So Gano, right? So you play Miriam. Is it Miriam the role you play, right? Yeah. I'm so glad you really feel something for the surrogate mother, and you do a wonderful job, yeah, at that. I thought you can say a lot with your face and your eyes, it was a lovely performance. So well done again.
Thank
So
you.
tell me a little bit about how you approached the role and also your character and how you prepared for it.
As long as I can remember myself, I've always had a big thing for family, mother and child's connections. And I mean, I always wanted to portray it in a role, and I mean, it was a dream for me to do it. So I guess I can say dreams come true. And I remember when I read the script of Unser Kind, I was thinking like, I felt so close with Mariam, and every decision she made, everything she made was just like logic for me, and she just clicked in my mind. That's what I remember from that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's lovely to see, as well, like that the surrogate mother has a connection to the baby, and
Yes.
you're the one fighting for the life of the baby. Then, towards the end of the film, because I always kind of wonder, that it must be very difficult for a surrogate mother, and I think you really help the viewer, understand that thought process, so. I loved how the film kind of ends there as well. I mean, I think most people watching this are going to have seen the film before they click into the Q&A. So I think we're okay talking about it. Samuel, do you want to talk a little bit about that and what you were trying to say with the film, with the ending?
Yes, absolutely. The ending, and you could call it sort of an open ending, leaving certain narrative threads untied, certain questions unanswered. That was really sort of the intention, because I personally feel like that's an invitation for the audience to really reflect on the topics, the underlying issues of the film. And after taking the experience of watching the film with them home, develop maybe their own sort of opinion on the topics and engaging in a constructive debate about these topics. And I feel personally that's where cinema and films can be really powerful.
Right. Okay. So I'll just dip into some of the questions here. One nice question here from Jenny Kermode from I for Film. So for you, Jörg. So Jenny says, men are often treated as secondary in stories like this. They're not expected to be as emotionally involved. So she's asking, how did you approach, showing us Michael's, inner experience, and how did you, imagine his journey and that inner turmoil that's going on for Michael?
Yeah, I think point where he has the scene where they have this discussion with the director of the hospital, I think I would react quite similar, because yeah.
Du kannst auch schnell auf Schweizerdeutsch sagen, Jörg.
Is like, no, if you want to translate, Samuel, if that's easier.
Yeah, I can translate. Du kannst mir so schnell sagen.
Ja, okay. Was ist die Frage nochmal? Sorry, ich bin völlig out of order.
I think, Jörg, what you're going to speak to was something that we sort of also talked about a lot when preparing, or like when working on the role, is that, Michael is he's forced to be an observer. He's forced to sort of be distant because, of the obvious lack of maternal instincts. He's not experiencing the emotional complexity that the intended mother Hannah is experiencing, and that the surrogate Mariam is experiencing. He's also not going through those physical challenges that a pregnancy can present. And I think that really sort of makes him struggle to be supportive to his partner and to the process. But at the same time, he obviously, as a intended father, is also very much emotionally involved and therefore torn in a way.
Samuel, right. So I see there's a question just from Film Business here that I just popped up. Yeah. So from Film Business, right, he's asking, during your research for the film, did you speak to any couples that were going through the same process?
Yes, I actually had the opportunity to speak to one couple that did go through the process. It was a very sort of important moment for me to also test our narrative against the reality of what a couple like that experiences when they go on a journey like this, because authenticity was really sort of the main goal for us, because a story like this comes with a asks for great responsibility in a way, because you're talking about a lot of real stories, right? So that was a very important moment for me to sort of talk to them about the script and to get their nod and sort of their approval as well, that that's a film that they would be also interested in seeing on a big screen.
So, right, and another question from film business here, just for the three actors, to Lucy, Gano, and Jörg. Was there anything particularly difficult to show in terms of the emotion in the film? And did you do much research in order to convey that prior to coming on set? So, Lucy, do you want to take that first, and I'll go to Jörg and Gano afterwards.
I was a little bit nervous about the scene where we learn about the diagnosis, because I just feel like that's a really, really pivotal scene. And
yeah, it's like what struck me about that, there's something quite heartless about the delivery of how he says it, like, because contractually, they say you don't have to keep the baby, and the choice is yours. So yeah, it's a scene that really kind of stayed with me.
Yeah, and I think there's so many things happening, and I think that she was feeling so many things. She was like also feeling the loss of something that you've never even had. How do you play that? Like, what's going on? I was just trying to like think of everything that could be happening inside her, and then to forget everything and just listen and feel what would be happening then. And I feel like it worked out really, really well for some reason. Like we were, sometimes the whole crew was also really listening. We could really feel the whole crew listening and really emotionally reacting also. And that gave us such a beautiful concentration and I really, really felt valued as an actor on that set.
Right.
It was beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So there's also another question, which while you're there, like from Larry Galters, he asks for the three of you as well. How did the project change your perspective and your insights into surrogacy?
I can answer that.
Yeah, great.
I
Go
will
ahead,
try
Gano.
to answer that.
Yeah. Like,
So, yes, it was never illegal in Georgia. It was never legal surrogacy, yes. And I never know it was illegal in Switzerland and so many countries. I have friends and I have neighbors who have a kid from surrogacy, and we were talking about this subject for so long, and we were kind of in a shock that it was illegal, because we didn't understand why would it be illegal to have a child. I don't know. That's my answer to that.
Is it something you'd ever consider doing, Gano, yourself?
Yes.
Is it really? Right. Okay. I mean, I think it'd be very difficult, because if you have to go through 9 months, carrying a baby for somebody else, like you'd always feel.
I think I misunderstood your
sorry.
question.
Like you'd have someone else be the
Yes.
surrogate mother. Yeah.
Yeah, I have friends and I have a neighbor. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine yourself ever being a surrogate mother?
I mean, I've played surrogate mother, and it's really hard.
No,
but
in real
yes.
life, like.
I don't know. If if it's needed, why not?
Okay. Yeah. No, it's an interesting choice as well as to why your character was doing it. I mean, what do you think was the motivation for Miriam to do this? Is it simply financial gain? Do you think? I mean, did you think about what was going on in mind in that?
I think it's a financial thing, and I wanted to talk about ending scene because it says a lot about Mariam. I think when she said that it was a healthy baby, she really did believe it was healthy. And even if it's not a healthy baby, I don't think she would really care, because she did really love it, the kid.
Yeah,
and
I love that scene where you're pleading with them to keep the baby, and you're telling them, no, the baby's fine, it's healthy, and you're contradicting what the doctor is saying.
Yes.
And it does seem to kind of plant doubt then in the parents' minds. Well, especially in Lucy's character's mind. I think maybe Lucy is going through, or Lucy's character, Hannah, the character, seems to be kind of going through maybe more inner turmoil and indecision than Jörg's character, I felt. I mean, what do you think about that, Lucy? Like, I mean, is that
Yeah. Well, I love so much the line, well, you know, where they're in the car and they just had the diagnosis and he says, "We talked about this." And she says, "No, we didn't." And I think that's so telling about that couple's situation because it happens so often that you think you talked about something, but you didn't really, or you couldn't have talked about it to the extent that would bring clarity in that situation. So I think that they're just in huge inner turmoil, and both of them, but he deals with it differently, and maybe he really thinks that they made this plan and she doesn't see it that way. Maybe she doesn't remember it that way, or I can remember when I was playing it thinking that this is, you know, in the scene as the character thinking it's absurd that you could even think we could discuss this beforehand, you know? Yeah.
Jörg, I think your character is probably a bit more resolute in his decision. I think like when we're watching it, like the viewer kind of feels like, okay, that maybe Hannah, Lucy's character, could be swayed. I think, when the parents are faced with this terrible choice, I think maybe it's an easier decision for Michael. I mean, what do you think, Jörg, about that?
Yeah, it's in that moment. It's in the first moment. He's surprised by himself, like his reaction is in that moment. I think that is the first reaction, and after maybe changes. I don't know. So he says something about, no, I don't want to have to do something with that, or I can handle it. So it's yeah.
So a question from Jonathan Bliss, Samuel. What did you find most challenging in the making of this film?
Well, looking back, I really would highlight how wonderful the experience was of shooting the film with our cast, with our crew in Georgia. We also shot in Switzerland 1.5 days. So this was really just a memorable, wonderful experience. The story of making this film, however, is a bit complicated, and what I would consider to be the biggest challenge was the fact that originally the story was set in Ukraine. We were supposed to shoot this film in Ukraine, which was one of the big surrogacy sort of destinations for couple who pursue their dream of having a family. It was one of the big destinations, and then the Russian war against Ukraine started, and thankfully our Ukrainian co-producer, Dmytro Sukhanov, was able to stay on the project, and he helped us facilitate to move the shoot to Georgia, where commercial surrogacy is also legal.
Right.
So, and it was, of course, very difficult and very emotional to make that transition.
So, I mean, there's a question also from We Love Short Films asking about what it was like shooting in Georgia. How did you find that experience?
Oh, it was wonderful. I have to say the amount of talent, craftsmanship, the love and the drive that is there for cinema struck me in the deepest way. I have to say, I was welcomed. We were welcomed to a wonderful crew, to a wonderful cultural environment, a great city as well, Tbilisi, where we.
And why did you feel the need to shoot in Georgia? Because I know obviously it's illegal to perform surrogacy in Switzerland, but it's not illegal to make a film about it. I mean, did you was there a reason why you didn't consider just shooting in Switzerland?
Oh, of course. I mean, that comes back to our main sort of principle, which was authenticity, right?
Right.
It would never have been an option for us to sort of build this in a studio in Switzerland or try to find, the city of Tbilisi in Zurich or anything like that.
Right.
So travel was always part of our journey. And, in Georgia, Georgia is now one of those destinations where couples from Switzerland go to. There's not too many options, especially for couples who don't have the money to do it, for example, in the US, where it is much more expensive. So it is actually now the destination, and therefore it was the perfect fit for us.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Even everything about the film feels very real, very authentic. So well done. There's a question actually at the top here that I meant to come back to from Jenny Kermode. She's saying, the direct focus of the film is obviously on surrogacy, but did you see this as a means of tackling wider questions about how people react to learning that a child would be born disabled, and the lack of consideration often given to that possibility when people are planning a pregnancy? Did you want to look at that wider issue of a child being disabled?
I think this is a very an important question. And, I feel like, yes, the intention of this film was to raise and to show the complexity, the ethical complexities of surrogacy, but all the underlying issues as well that the film touches upon, and to ask questions that then hopefully the audience will feel inspired to answer for themselves, and then to start discussing. I think that applies here as well.
I heard before that your background, right? It's not film school, right? Right? Am I right in saying you were a sociologist?
Yes, I studied sociology, correct. I did not go to film school, and yeah, please go ahead.
So I imagine, there's certain types of stories then that you want to tell. I mean, you want to tell stories, about social issues. So, I mean, is that something you'd like to carry forward always?
Yes, I am really interested in sort of the social fabrics of society and sort of the relationships and social interactions that these fabrics are made of. And especially when these interactions and relationships are tabooed or stigmatized, my ears perk up and I get very interested. And this was also the reason why the topic of surrogacy and the prohibition, of course, of surrogacy in Switzerland interested me so much.
So where are you now in your festival run? Are you kind of around the beginning or middle or the end, or has it been going around to a lot of festivals? And what's the reaction been like to it at film festivals?
We're very, very lucky to have it premiere in Los Angeles at the LA Shorts, and it was just wonderful to learn that it resonated with the audience and the jury so much that we won the Best of Fest award there, and then therefore qualifying for the next year's Oscars. That was just a wonderful experience, and we've had great opportunities to show the film at festivals in Europe as well. I was just recently in Cyprus at the International Short Film Festival of Cyprus, where, again, a great screening. And yeah, we're still in the midst of it. We're submitting and we're hoping for more opportunities to share the film and grow our audience around the world.
Okay, great. So, right. Last question then. I will end with there's the great one here from Film Business, and he's asking, if there was one important message that you'd like the audience to leave with, what would that be?
Well, my answer would be twofold. I think, first of all, I would really take this opportunity to show this film, and the fact that we're now talking about it as a celebration of cinema. Short film is a very powerful form of cinema, and I'm really grateful that everybody who joined here today is partaking in this celebration. But then also in terms of what topics the film deals with, I really hope that our film can be a catalyst for change, that it can be a spark for a very important discussion about surrogacy, especially in countries like Switzerland and other Western countries where it is prohibited. Because I personally feel that the fact that such a profound human desire, the dream of having a family, that should, and prohibiting an option to pursue that dream, forcing couples to travel across the world to pursue their family, that discussion should not be just sort of be a taboo, stigmatized, or not even be led at all. So
yeah, well,
our film raises and sparks that debate.
I think it will. It's a film that really made me think. And I think it's something that will have a big social impact. When people see it. So if you haven't seen it, and people will check it out. And and it's, you know, it's so beautifully made, you know, from all points of view. I mean, it's just a lovely film. You know, really lovely performances from the cast, and it feels real, you know. So, you know, I hope Academy voters will check it out and vote for it. And I really hope we see you there on the shortlist. I think it deserves a space. So, the very best of luck with it. I'll be rooting for you. It was lovely chatting with all you guys. So thanks for taking the time to talk to me, and thanks to all the journalists as well who joined. We didn't get to all the questions, but if you want to send them on to London Flair, I'm sure they'll pass it on to the filmmakers, and they'll get back to you on it. So thanks again, guys, and thanks again to everybody who joined us. It's been really, really nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys. You're all the best.